You might be a liberal if you claim that you cannot stand Freedom Friday with Carl Gallops. Yet, you listen anyway to every word that falls from his mouth. You just cannot help yourself. Stay tuned, you will not be disappointed. Now, here's Carl Gallops.
All right, welcome back, America. Freedom Friday, and we've got Mike Shoesmith on the line with us from Toronto. Mike Shoesmith, the executive director of the P.P. Simmons Properties. It's a God and Country ministry that involves, oh my gosh, it's even more than that now. It's ministry is the primary purpose, but it also serves as a huge news hub, an alternative news hub. Also serves as a kind of just a huge help to people. Mike, you've got a YouTube site, you've got 3 or 4 Facebook properties, you've got a blog spot that's syndicated, you've written several books, very biblical and Christian oriented, of course. You've got a prayer and ministry hotline, ppsimmons@live.com, millions of viewers and subscribers and tens of thousands of subscribers to the YouTube channel and millions of visitors to the Facebook sites every month. It's just amazing. Your reach is around the world, my friend.
Yeah, and I do it all while traveling all over North America. You know, I'm coming to you today from Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is one of those flyover provinces, you know, that most people haven't heard of. But here I am in Regina, Saskatchewan today, birthplace of socialized medicine in Canada, by the way. This is where it all started. So now today we have rationed health care, you know, and since rationed health care, you know, the government pays for everything.
Right.
The doctors are all paid by the government, so that's all capped. And, you know, the hospital bills, that's all capped. So the only in Canada, the only variable wherein the government can control cost is at the end user. And that's that's the people, right?
Right.
So now what happens is whenever we need to see a specialist, it'll take us weeks or months to see the same specialist that you guys can see the same day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the medical system in Canada. I'm sitting in the birthplace of all that right now.
That's absolutely amazing. And you are all over North America. You're all over Canada and all over the United States. Listen, let's do this. I was reading P.P. Simmons' blog today, and you made a very, very astute and interesting connection to the Boston bombing. You connected it back to George Bush with an angle that I thought was very interesting. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, you know, the Obama camp, they have this propensity toward blaming Bush for everything, right? Even now, all these years later, right?
Right.
But now it does seem that there is something here that looks like it could actually be George Bush's fault. You guys remember the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson?
Yeah. Yeah.
It came out in theaters in June of 2000, right? Now, remember that date, June of 2000.
Right.
At the beginning of the movie, Gibson is seen in his workshop there, and he just finished building a rocking chair, right?
Right.
And he picks up the rocking chair, and he hangs it on a scale. And he reads the weight out loud. He says this out loud. He says, 9 pounds, 11 ounces.
Yeah.
Then he reads it again, Carl.
Yeah.
9 pounds, 11 ounces.
9/11.
Then he says the word perfect. He places the chair on the ground, sits in it, and it collapses to the floor.
Right.
Now, what was the name of the movie? The movie was called The Patriot.
The Patriot.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now tell me the name of the act passed by George Bush following the attack on the World Trade Center in New York, where 2 towers were felled by as yet unsatisfactorily explained means. Yes, that's right, folks. We get it.
Yeah.
What is the name of that act? It was called the Patriot Act.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And if you weren't intrigued by that, you should check your pulse or at least get your carometer fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Get your intrigometer fixed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, what does any of this have to do with Boston? Plenty, in fact, because the Patriot Act was set to sunset 4 years later after it was passed.
Right.
But President Bush ensured its survival by signing it into law on March 9th of 2006. So the Patriot Act became law then, right? The law of the land.
Right.
The point of this exercise is that the law enshrined the Patriot Act and made it illegal for Barack Obama to verbalize any thoughts he may or may not have which betray a belief that it is a Muslim problem.
Right.
Did you know that? Officials, and in fact, as I read the act, it's in Section 102 of the Patriot Act. You guys can go to the blog, ppsimmons.blogspot.com, and you'll find it there. The headline is, Obama can't say it's a Muslim problem, and it really is Bush's fault this time.
Yeah. No, I read that article, and you can read the actual excerpt from the Patriot Act. You have it there, and it does. I mean, it's pretty clear. You're just not allowed to say that we have a Muslim problem, because that would be, not politically correct. It would be hate speech. I mean, that's in the Patriot Act.
Right.
Yeah.
And his hands are tied. The president's hands are tied because of Section B. And the words, now here are the words. Every effort must be taken to preserve their safety against discrimination against Arab and Muslim Americans. Okay,
Right.
You cannot discriminate against Muslims in America. You can't do it. It's against the law, which the Patriot Act was converted to in 2006. Not just Americans, Carl, Muslim Americans.
Right.
So is this really a case of it's Bush's fault? It appears so. The Patriot Act appears to forbid Barack Obama or anyone else from publicly saying it's a Muslim problem.
Yeah.
Go figure,
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think that Barack Obama needed the Patriot Act to do that, but he certainly can hide behind it legally, is the point you're trying to make. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. And a comparison of that, I guess, would be, if you can think of a better one, please give it. But I'm thinking if we were involved in World War II and Nazi Germany was on the roll, and we passed a law here at home saying that, look, you can't use the word Nazi, you can't use the word German or Kraut or all those little slang terms. You can't speak of the German aggression or Hitler and the Third Reich. If you do, it's hate speech, and so we're passing a law. I mean, how unbelievably ridiculous would that be?
Yeah, no. Muslims have a specific protection in the Patriot Act law.
Yeah.
Under law, they cannot be discriminated against. So basically, we will never see a day when Muslims are singled out as perpetrators of terror in America.
Unbelievable.
It's sad, really.